Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. My name is Gudny and today I'm going to be talking about how expensive Iceland really is. When you plan a dream trip to one of the most breathtaking countries in the world, it is essential to know the approximate cost of things like accommodation, activities, transportation and food. And I am here to cover all of that. Now before we dive into this subject, please subscribe to our channel. On there we have tons of other useful videos with practical tips and tricks about Iceland delivered to you by locals from Iceland. And if you like this style of video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Before we get started on this video, since we're going to be covering costs, I wanted to give you a quick disclaimer. Here in Iceland, our currency is called krona. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be referring to US dollars. Here in Iceland, almost every single place is going to accept credit cards, so having a krona, our currency, with you is not really necessary. First things first, let's talk about where you're gonna rest stop after a long day of exploring the land of ice and fire. Accommodation here in Iceland can vary greatly in price, all depending on what type of lodging you prefer. Now before we get into some pricing examples, I want to cover a few accommodation tips. Like we have stated in previous videos on our channel, your experience here in Iceland is going to rely a lot on how much time you have here in Iceland. So are you just staying in the city for a short stay? Are you driving all the ring roads and staying at various places along the ring roads? Or are you planning on staying in the suburb areas and driving into the city with the hopes of saving a bit of money? We recommend staying here centrally. That is in the 101 downtown area of Reykjavik for shorter stays, and also for the beginning and end of longer stays. That's because here in the downtown area, most of the activities and downtown attractions are within walking distance. So this way, you won't really need a rental car. You will also be close to any of the following pickup locations you can choose for any day tours and activities you might have scheduled during your stay here. To stay centrally in any city will cost a bit more, but also, again, this way, you won't really need a rental car, so you'll be saving money and time on transportation. So do factor that in before booking somewhere out in the suburbs in the hopes of saving a bit of money. Now I'm going to be covering some pricing examples of accommodation here in Iceland. Do know that these are pricing examples that take aim from a two-person booking from people who are booking with about a 3 months notice. Budget hotels. For budget travelers, hostels can be a great option with prices starting from about $80 per night for a shared dorm. So that's about $35 to $40 per night per person. Apartments. Renting an apartment can be a great option, especially for longer stays and larger groups, with prices starting from about $130 to $250 per night, depending on the size, location, and amenities included. Mid-range hotels. For those who prefer the hotel lifestyle, mid-range hotels here in Iceland can cost from about $100 to $200 per night, again depending on the location and amenities included. But if you're all about pampering yourself, luxury hotels and resorts here in Iceland can start from $250 up towards $500, if not even more, per night. Keep in mind that prices can vary drastically throughout the seasons, so it's always best to book with as much notice as you can, and if you have the means to travel in the off-season, that is from August to October, you are able to grab a great deal on accommodations here in Iceland. Now that we have covered accommodation, let's discuss how you're going to get around Iceland. There are a few ways to get around. They all depend on your travel style and budget. So here are some transportation examples. Public transportation. Now the public bus system can be a very affordable option, the single ticket costing around $4. If you're going to be using the bus system frequently on your visit here, consider purchasing a bus pass. Personally, I would say that the public bus system here in Iceland isn't the best compared to other countries. So I would say it also depends on where you are located, if it depends on using it or not. In many cases, you will have to catch 2 or more buses to get to your location, and that can quickly add a lot of travel time to your trip. Car rental. To rent a car to explore Iceland at your own pace is a very popular choice, with prices starting from about $110 per day for a small vehicle and up to $150 plus more for larger vehicles or 4x4s. Now if you're going to be renting a car, remember to factor in gas prices, because gas here in Iceland is quite expensive. I would also definitely recommend getting insurance with the rental car. The weather here in Iceland can be very harsh, and various damages related to the weather, like wind damages, are an extremely common thing that can definitely happen to a rental vehicle. And if you don't have the insurance to get that covered beforehand, it can cost a lot of money to get that fixed. Taxis. It is very easy to hail a taxi here in the Reykjavik area, and you can also order them by phone or via their app. A A taxi ride here is going to be starting at about $5, and then they're going to charge you roughly $3 per kilometer. So a 10-minute taxi ride in the Reykjavik area is going to cost somewhere between $18 to $22, depending on what time and what weekday you're taking that taxi. Sadly, no, there are no Ubers or Lyft in Iceland. But a new thing is a company here in Iceland called Hop just started with their own taxi service. So if you download the Hop app, you can order a taxi at your desired location, and the great thing about that is that they show the prices beforehand and they charge you beforehand, similar to Uber and Lyft. For other options, like I stated previously in the accommodations chapter, we recommend staying here centrally. That way you won't really need a rental car because you're going to be able to walk around most of the places. Also, you can do day tours. When you book a day tour, you choose an accommodation here in the city area, and they come and pick you up directly from the city, take you out to a specific part of the island where you can explore, and then after you're done with your fun day of exploring, they take you right back to the city and drop you off where they picked you up. And with this option, there's no need to worry about driving yourself in risky conditions, gas prices, wind insurance, or any of that. Now let's explore the costs of some popular activities here in Iceland. From natural wonders to adrenaline-pumping adventures, here there's truly something for everyone. Good news! Many of Iceland's natural wonders are completely free. So if you have your own rental car, you can simply drive up to a waterfall, geyser, or any other stunning natural attraction, park and enjoy. However, although many of these natural attractions are free, do consider joining a guided tour. With that, you get to hear the rich history and captivating stories that are adjacent to these natural wonders. Also with this, you get the opportunity to cover a larger area of the island, since you have an expert guide with you who knows how to get in between all of these spaces in a very efficient way, and he might even take you to some secret locations you might not have found on your own. Like visiting a tomato farm, seeing a secret hidden waterfall, or experiencing a geothermal bakery. We here at Wake Up Reykjavik specialize in small group experiences, and we have tons of tours that we offer with those services. And they can range from about a $70 puffin tour up towards a $200 full-on 11-hour Snæfellsnes Peninsula adventure tour with added lunch included. And then we have everything in between. And that's it from me. If you're trying to cut down costs on activities, look at joining group tours and purchasing it all at the same time with the same company. For example, here at Wake Up Reykjavik, we would love to give you a package deal on your tours. And if you book any of these following tours I've been talking about in this video, you will get a little added discount if you use the promo code Gudny. Iceland truly is a magical place, and there are so many activities you can do here. Now I'm going to be covering some of my personal favorite activities to do here in Iceland and showing you the approximate costs of them. The Blue Lagoon, the Sky Lagoon, the Reykjavik Food Walk, whale watching tour, horseback riding tour, snowmobiling and ice cave exploring, and the ever popular Northern Lights tour. Now these examples are just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many fun things to do and see here. And if you have any more questions about them, do not hesitate to write a comment about it here below, and I would love to get back to you. Now moving on to one of my favorite subjects, food. Iceland is known for its fresh seafood and amazingly tender free-range lamb. And I can assure you the restaurant and food quality here generally is amazing. And let's break down what a meal here in Iceland is going to cost you roughly. Cheap restaurants. To save some money on food, consider going grocery shopping. My favorite grocery shops here in Iceland are Bónus and Krónan, and they are the cheapest ones. Consider grabbing Icelandic delicacies like skyr or kleiner to have with you on the go when you're exploring. And also, if you're staying in an apartment, you can take stuff with you and cook meals at your accommodations to save money. Also note that food at gas station stops here in Iceland are actually quite tasty, and a gas station hot dog is completely normal and acceptable, and it can be a very cheap and affordable option to grab with you on the go. For some cheap eats here in Iceland, like a hot dog, grabbing something from a bakery or a food truck, you can expect to pay anywhere from $5 to $11 per person. Mid-range restaurants. For a meal at a mid-range restaurant, you can expect to pay anywhere from $30 to $50 per person. I always recommend looking for a deal, a daily special, and this is especially popular in the Reykjavik area during lunch hours. Fine dining. For a luxurious dining experience, expect to pay anywhere from $70 to $150 per person. But then we definitely do have some more fancier restaurants where the cost is going to be even higher. Now, a great way to try all of these different food variations is to join our Reykjavik Food Walk. The Reykjavik Food Walk is actually the highest rated food experience in the world on TripAdvisor to date, and we operate it. On that tour, you walk through the city of Reykjavik, eating authentic Icelandic foods with a super fun local guide. This gives you a great insight into our culture and a fantastic overview of the city, so we like to recommend it as the perfect first day activity. We would love to have you join in the Reykjavik Food Walk fun, and remember that when you're booking your Reykjavik Food Walk, use the promo code Gudny for a little added discount. Do note that this is a small group experience, so tickets frequently sell out, so try to book it with as much notice as you can. Now, I do consider myself an expert foodie, and I am on the mission to eat at every single restaurant here in Reykjavik. Now, if you're into eating, and if you would like my personal list of my favorite restaurants here in the city, do send me an email to this address. I would love to give you my personal recommendation list and even help you out with securing your reservations. Alright, now we've covered some of the main expenses you might run into when setting up a trip to Iceland, including accommodation, transportations, activities, and food. Now remember, Iceland truly is unique and offers some experiences you won't find anywhere else. So don't let cost deter you from experiencing this magical place. I can assure you that with a little budgeting and planning, you'll be well on your way to creating some unforgettable memories right here in Iceland. Again, this was just a quick overview of the main things we get asked about when budgeting in Iceland. If you would like me to go deeper into any one subject, or if you have any new subject that you would like me to cover, please write them in the comments here below. If you did like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to our channel for more Iceland travel tips and tricks. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.